Hello folks, I think we're close enough to the launch of Legion Remix that we're unlikely to see any more major changes, and that means that it's a good time to start doing some guide content, and where better to start than with the rewards. Just like Mock Remix, the World of Warcraft developers have leaned ultra hard into giving us plenty of cosmetic rewards to farm, with a ton of both new stuff, returning stuff, and easier ways to get some still available stuff, or in other words, plenty of stuff. Mount collectors are without doubt going to be the best off, with a total of 45 new mounts, along with 28 original Legion mounts to buy with bronze, and the return of the Legion curve mount. The Violet Spellwing was the reward for defeating Argus the Unmaker, the final boss of the final Legion raid in Taurus on heroic difficulty. As was the case of all the other expansion curve mounts, the ability to earn this mount was removed at the end of Legion. At that time, I recall that the community came together to help players who don't usually raid get this mount on an industrial scale, something that I honestly don't think we've really seen ever since. Because the Legion Remix testing has been limited to Phase 1 content, we don't have any absolute confirmation in exactly how this mount can be earned, but the fairly obvious expectation from pretty much everyone is that it will require defeating Argus on heroic difficulty once it becomes available later in Phase 4 of Legion Remix, which is likely to be from mid-November through to mid-February next year. The next most interesting mounts to me is a complete set of fell recolors of the Legion Class Order Hall mounts. These particular mounts are available on the time-running vendor for 20,000 bronze each, but you can also obtain them by getting a character of that class up to level 80. While these mounts are earned warband wide, they, like the Legion originals, will be locked to their respective classes, so unfortunately no paladin mounts for demon hunters. Now before I go any further, it is worth saying that many of the rewards from the Legion Remix vendors are gated by the first 4 phases of Legion, so for the rest of the mounts I am going to run through the highlights phase by phase. For Phase 1, which is available at launch, we'll be getting 18 new mounts, all costing 10,000 bronze, which will include new Dreadstalkers and Elderhorn, Eagles, Fellbats, Unicorns and Basilisks, which actually look more like Crocolisks to me. On top of this, for returning mounts, we'll also be able to buy the long forgotten Hippogriff, a rather awkward to farm mount from Azuna, the Spirit of Echero, an archaeology mount that is normally only obtainable once every 6 months, and the Fathom Dweller secret mount, along with the Arcadian War Turtle from the vendor Zurius. For Phase 2, which will include the Nighthold and the second part of the Suramar storyline, we get another 5 brand new mounts, all again 10,000 bronze, including a Mana Saber and a brace of undead mounts. And on the returning mount front, we'll be able to get Midnight from Karazhan, along with the 2 Inferno core mounts from Mythic Gul'dan. For Phase 3, which includes the Broken Shore and Tomb of Sargeras, there are no new mounts, but we will be getting all of the Paragon chest mounts from the main Legion zones, highlights of which include a Flying Carpet and a Storm Dragon, along with the Abyss Worm, which drops from Mistress Sassine in the Tomb of Sargeras. Moving on to Phase 4, which includes Argus and Taurus, and we're getting 10 new mounts, all again for 10,000 bronze, including a brand new Azul, Mana Rays, and a bunch of Rune Striders and Talbots, along with the Argus rare mounts, the Army of the Light Fellcrusher Paragon mounts, the Mana Rays from the Fell-Spotted Eggs, and the Shackled Urzo, which was originally the mythic final boss reward from Taurus. And that's it for the mount rewards. All in all, it will cost you up to 570,000 bronze for all of those new mounts, although you can reduce that to 330,000 bronze by leveling one of every class for those class mounts. And if you don't have any of the existing Legion mounts, that would set you back another 1.34 million bronze, or in other words, potentially 1.91 million bronze in total to get all of the mounts. Now, moving on now to take a look at Transmog appearances, and this is one area where you cannot just get everything from farming bronze, as there's actually a fair bit that does come from other content. And that's the stuff that I am going to concentrate on here. Probably the most interesting Transmog reward is this awesome take on the gown that Queen Azshara wore in her appearances in Azuna. And while this will take you a bit of work to obtain, it's actually not super obnoxious. What you'll need to do is to complete the achievement Suramar, which itself requires you to do only 2 out of the 4 following options. And that is complete the Suramar campaign, that's just the original 7.0 storyline in Suramar, fully explore the Suramar map, collecting 8 of the zone treasures and defeating 5 of the zone's rares, complete the Nighthold raid along with the Archway and Court of Stars dungeons, or reach Exalted with the Nightfallen. The other really interesting Transmog sets are 4 new takes on the Sageri Commander Transmog set. The Fellscorn Regalia comes from completing the entire Legion Remix campaigns, the Voidscarred Regalia from doing 100 world quests on Heroic World Tier, the Lightbound Regalia from doing all of the Legion raids on Mythic difficulty, and the Hellforge Regalia from doing any Mythic Keystone dungeon on 30 or above. And for fans of weapons, there's the Sinister Fell Arsenal, which requires collecting 2 Stormheim achievements from 4 options, and you can probably guess what they are. That's completing the Stormheim campaign, exploring the map and defeating 5 rares and collecting 8 treasures, completing the Trial of Valor raid, the Halls of Valor and Maw of Souls dungeons, or reaching Exalted with the Valor Jar. Do the same sort of thing for the Broken Shore and you'll get this Fallen King's Corrupted Blade. And from Argus, there's the Bulwark of Manaroth. And changing tack, fully clearing in Taurus will net you the Fellscorn Scythe of the Unmaker. Now, in terms of vendor transmogs, and there are 3 returning items that I do want to call out. The first Satyr's Spaulders cost you 30,000 bronze, along with 20 horns of the first Satyr, which you can farm from defeating Xavius. You get 1 of those from normal, 4 from heroic, or 10 from mythic per kill. There's also Teshalach, which costs 30,000 bronze and requires 20 Everflame of Hatred from Argrimar of Taurus. You can guess the amounts, I'm sure. And Scythe of the Unmaker. Yep, you guess it. 30,000 bronze and 20 Cosmic Soul Silver, which drops from Argus in Taurus. For those of you who only have bronze to spend, then the Remix vendors have a ton of ensembles and weapon arsenals to buy. Too many, in fact, to preview all of them here. In total, there are 41 brand new sets, costing 273,000 bronze and 237 returning sets, costing a cool 4.488 million bronze. Moving on now to pets, and the Warden's Companion is awarded from doing 2 out of 4 achievements from Azuna, and the Dusky Tooth Fell Snooter is the same deal from High Mountain. And from the vendors, there are 3 brand new pets, costing 15,000 bronze in total, and 20 existing Legion pets for 880,000, which will include Khadgar's head if you want it. For those of you who like to collect toys, unfortunately there are no new toys being added, but there are 27 old favourites on the vendor costing you 890,000 bronze. And last of all, there is also a weapon illusion, Fell Shatter, which is earned from doing the Val'sharah zone content. Now, a quick little disclaimer here, there was so much stuff on the vendors to troll through, it's very possible that I may have miscounted 1 or 2. Now, as you can tell, there is rather a lot of stuff to buy, and the bronze costs do add up to about 8.5 million in total, which is quite a daunting amount. Now, your ability to farm that much will be very dependent on the content you do. Testing has found that bronze drops escalate a lot in harder content, especially in those very high Mythic Plus keys. But if you prefer a more, perhaps chill and casual approach, you'll likely find yourself having to prioritise what you want to buy. Personally, I'm not planning to dive into the Mythic Plus or Raiden, unless of course the power gains are steep and easy enough that I can end up souling them mostly for free at some point. I don't really want to have to juggle both Season 3 and Legion Remix endgame, which means that I'm personally not expecting to get anywhere close to getting 8+ million bronze. And my plan is to first focus on the exclusive Remix only mounts, followed by whatever class mounts I don't get for free. I am lucky enough to have all of the returning mounts already, but even if I didn't, I would still seriously consider leaving them until I got whatever exclusive transmogs and other rewards I wanted first, as it will still be possible to farm these after the event. Following on for getting those exclusive mounts though, and if I have any bronze left, I'll probably get a few of the exclusive ensembles, along with perhaps some of those harder to obtain outside of Remix toys. Now, if you're a completionist, then I suspect that you will find that you'll have to go pretty hard into that endgame remix content in order to farm enough bronze, though I'm personally expecting that we may well see some major buffs to bronze at some point, possibly in the mysterious final Phase 5, which we don't know a lot about content-wise so far. But anyway, that's it for my Legion Remix rewards summary. So what Legion Remix rewards are you planning to chase? Will you be going for completionism, or are just one or two of the new mounts enough for you? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this update helpful, entertaining, or even just plain annoying, then do let me know by hitting that like icon. And if you want to support my channel to grow and help me to make more of these videos, along with my other content, then hit that subscribe button right now before you forget. If you don't want to miss out whenever I release a brand new video, then as well as subscribing, you can follow me in social media for updates. My link's in the description below as well. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.